So hi everybody and welcome once again to my video blog. A lot of people have been messaging me and asking me about weight loss advice. Basically, if any of you have seen my old boy pictures, you might have noticed I used to be bigger. About 4 years ago I used to weigh 195 pounds and I was fairly uncomfortable with my weight, as you might suspect, and furthermore when I wanted to transition I felt even more uncomfortable being overweight. So at the start of university I started, to care a little bit more and to change my eating habits, and I lost some weight over the course of 2 years or so. And as of today, I weigh 142.6 pounds. So I've lost over 50 pounds in total. Well, some people might be concerned, because when people eat less, it can lead to anemia or other negative conditions, but according to my blood tests, my cholesterol level has been consistently below the normal range. So my doctor even said he loves my cholesterol level because it's extremely low and I don't seem to be lacking any vitamins. So I seem to have managed to lose weight and keep it off and also, stay healthy at the same time, which I'm pretty proud of. So yeah, I think the issue of weight loss is not just something that concerns me, or women in general. It's something that particularly concerns most male to female transsexuals, because you want to look more feminine, you want to look more shapely. And some of you might have heard that hormones make you gain weight, which is true in some cases. Hormones make it easier to gain weight because they slow down your metabolism. So actually it's the lower testosterone level that's going to make this happen. What might happen is that you might find yourself more sensitive to colder temperatures when you're on hormones, because your body is consuming less energy when doing nothing, and so basically you're producing less heat, etc. And also the fact that hormones reduce your muscle mass makes this problem even worse, because muscle also consumes more energy than fat. So if you take hormones and you have less muscle and more fat, then you're just going to consume even less energy. So when do people really gain and lose weight? Well, I'm going to start with the basics. And as I said, I already mentioned energy. Everything that you do during your day consumes a certain amount of energy, which we can measure in calories or kilojoules. And you consume energy when ill as well. Even when you're not doing anything, even when you're just sitting on a chair, your body needs a certain amount of energy just to stay alive. And you absorb energy obviously through eating food, which we can measure also in the same units. If you look on some packages of food, and most of them actually nowadays, it will tell you how many calories are in one portion. So what happens is that if on average you eat more energy than you consume doing your daily activities, then you will gain weight and you will lose weight if you are actually having an energy deficit. That is, you are consuming more energy doing your daily activities than you are eating in terms of food. So if you want to lose weight, you should probably estimate how much energy you consume daily. And this is something that might seem unintuitive, but there's some websites that offer tools to do this. And the value will depend on your age, your height, your current weight, your gender. Personally, I would put female, because hormones will affect your metabolism and will probably put you more towards the female range of energy needs. I'll put a URL at the bottom of the screen for a website where you can do this. And basically, to lose weight, you should try to eat slightly less than the amount of energy that you consume on average, or exercise more to increase the amount of energy you consume. Although, if you exercise more, you have to be regular. You can't just exercise every once in a while. If you want to factor this into your energy consumption, you should exercise, at least twice a week, for example. And the kinds of exercise you want to be looking at are things like stationary biking, something that that requires cardio. And well, I've heard some people say really stupid things about exercise. For example, when I was in university, I took a class that was about fitness, and there were some girls who were like, oh, I don't want to do treadmill, because I don't want to become super muscly, and I was just like, that's stupid. You're not going to gain a lot of muscle by doing, running on a treadmill. Even if you run on a treadmill every day, the worst that's going to happen is that you're going to develop more muscles in your legs and butt, and you're just going to look, more shapely, more athletic, more attractive as a result. You're not going to become someone with bulky muscles from doing that, So don't be afraid to do cardio exercise for stupid reasons like that. It can only be good for you. And, well, when you do enough exercise, or when you consume more energy than you get from food, it will force your body to get energy from fat, from your reserves, and you will start losing weight. But of course, this is very gradual. It takes a long time. And when people hear this, they're sometimes tempted to diet. And by diet, I mean eating very little for a few weeks, eating only salads and soups, for example, or eating, much less energy than they need, skipping meals, or even, making themselves vomit after they eat, going to the toilet, sticking their fingers in their throat, and, expelling the food. But all of these are terrible, terrible ideas, Most of the people who diet, this has been proven, time and time again, most of the people who diet will regain all the lost weight and sometimes more. Skipping meals doesn't really work as a weight loss strategy. I used to know a girl in university who was something like 100 or 150 pounds overweight, and what she would do is she would starve herself for entire days at once. She would go to school through like 6 or 8 hours of classes a day and not eat anything, and she would have like headaches and all sorts of problems from that. And then what would happen is the next day she would be so starved she would just eat tons of food, way more than she needed. She would pig out, and she would not lose any weight from that. Worst thing is that what happens is that when you starve yourself, your body goes into like energy saving mode. When you starve yourself, your body consumes less energy as a response to that, and so it makes weight loss even more difficult. So my personal advice is to stick to 3 meals a day. And also, making yourself vomit, it can burn your throat, it can destroy your teeth completely because they're sensitive to acid, and it can cause you to lack essential vitamins, so once again, terrible idea. To lose weight, my advice is that you should commit yourself to it. You should stick to 3 meals a day, like, a healthy diet, but you should examine what you eat and find ways to cut down on the fat, cut down on the calories. You should try to eat more fiber because those encourage, weight loss. You should make sure you get enough vitamins because, again, that can make you lose weight. And if you're eating less, you might find that you're lacking some vitamins. And you should also make sure that you eat enough protein because if you don't, you might find yourself depressed. And some notes, eating fatty foods doesn't mean you can't have fat food ever. You should just find ways to fit the fatty food within your daily caloric allowance, When you eat food that's fatter, you just eat less of other things that are fat, You can have pizza, you just try to eat less of it, You can even have fries, just don't eat only fatty foods. And you might be surprised at the calorie counts of some things, You might think that some things are pretty healthy, for example, like peanuts. Peanuts are nice, they're a nice snack and everything, and they contain a lot of protein, but in a cup of peanuts you can easily have over 1,000 calories. I could easily go through a cup of peanuts, but if I did that, I would be eating more than half the energy I need in a day. So you have to be careful, you have to be aware of how many calories you're eating. And, the worst food in terms of calorie content is often restaurant foods, but by that I don't just mean McDonald's. Pasta with very creamy, fatty sauce, deep-fried foods, etc. are the worst. And when you go to a restaurant, you basically have no idea how many calories are in your food. They don't tell you. And you might be surprised, because they can hide oil and cream and etc. in their recipes, and you're just not gonna know. If you have to go with restaurant foods, a lot, because you can never manage to make yourself a lunch, I would advise you to go with wraps or Subway food or Asian soups or just, smaller portions in general. If you go to a restaurant and you find, that you're getting close to full, you don't have to finish your big plate. You can ask them to get a doggy bag, like 90% of restaurants and more will let you do that. And you can just, bring the food to lunch the next day or something, Don't waste it. And yeah, I said that you should be careful about the amount of calories in what you eat. Well, what you should probably do is start looking at the packagings of the things you eat, just a little amount of data in there, how many calories for what size of portions, etc., how much protein, how much fiber does it contain. And as I said, you might be surprised at some things. For example, some of the things I eat store-bought pizza every once in a while, and some of it are just 450 calories for half the pizza. So you can easily eat half of a store-bought pizza for lunch sometimes, and even eat more of that, more food than that, and you're going to be fine. Half a store-bought pizza, you could have even 2 chicken wings with that, and maybe some fruit, and you're still not going to overshoot your calorie budget. Fried chicken wings, as I mentioned, are about 250 calories for 5 or 6 pieces, so again, people would assume that that's fatty, fast food, but it's actually pretty reasonable, pretty high in protein, because chicken is a low-fat meat. You can have some nice pasta with tomato sauce and vegetables for well under 600 calories. Asian food, seafood, and poultry are sometimes low in calorie. You can eat tons of shrimp without getting fat. Shrimp is again very low fat and very high protein. And if you cook things like cream of carrots, cream of vegetables, it has almost no calories and it can be very tasty. And of course, in something like cream of vegetables, you can add cream and add like 200 calories to a soup, and it's still going to be very reasonable. So the way I do it myself is that almost every day I eat cereals for breakfast with orange juice. Sometimes I eat waffles, like Eggo waffles, or waffles made in a waffle maker. I eat the cereals with skim milk, that's 0% milk, because you can't really tell that the milk is 0% when you eat it with cereal. I try to put not too much milk, just enough for the cereals to be floating in there, but not too much. And I also add a fiber supplement to my cereal. This is like a little fiber powder and has absolutely no taste. And as I said, it's going to encourage weight loss and it's going to prevent constipation. And also with my orange juice, I eat a multivitamin pill. You can get those at most drugstores. They're like pills that have a ton of vitamins in them. And my girlfriend doesn't really like the idea of multivitamin pills. She says, it's better to get your vitamin from vegetables. And I agree with that, but if you're eating a multivitamin pill, you're basically guaranteeing that you will not lack any vitamins. So I think that's a pretty good idea. When I eat lunch, I try to eat about 700 calories. For example, I'll eat a chicken cheeseburger with fruits. That comes to about 500 calories. Sometimes you just eat a few pieces of chocolate, to go to 700 calories. Because if I don't eat enough at lunch, I will find myself hungry during the afternoon, and uncomfortable. So you have to be pretty careful, because you don't want to eat too much calories, but you don't want to eat too little and be hungry all the way until supper. And at supper, I try to target about 800 calories. That could be a small portion of pasta with sauce and broccoli and some chicken wings. Could be an Asian stir fry. I avoid frying things in a lot of oil. And my favorite meats are shrimp and chicken, which happen to be low fat, so it's pretty convenient. But the red meats are actually the ones that are the worst in terms of fat. And I end up going to restaurants more than once a month usually. My girlfriend loves restaurants, and I also like to try ethnic foods and all that. But once again, when you go to the restaurant, don't eat until you're so full you can't fit anything anymore. When you start getting too full, take the rest in a doggy bag, eat it for lunch the next day, and enjoy. And some final notes. Weight loss is easier for some people than others. Some people will say, you're fat because you're stupid. You're fat because you eat way too much, obviously, blah, blah, blah. I think genetics have a lot to do with it. I think that some people might not just have a faster metabolism that helps them keep lean, but some people also will have maybe intestines that absorb fat easier than other people, or fat cells that, will tend to store more fat than other people, etc., etc. There could be tons of genetic reasons why some people tend to get fat easier. So when you're estimating your daily calorie needs with some online tool, for example, and it tells you, like in my case, it will tell me that I need about 2,000 calories a day, and so my food should add to about 2,000 calories a day if I want to maintain my weight. Well, that might not be exactly true, for you. You might find that what the tool gives you is slightly too little or slightly too much, and you're going to have to experiment, to try to reduce your portions or increase your portions a little bit, and tweak it to see exactly what's appropriate for you. In the end, you have to experiment. Just don't be too draconian. Don't try to reduce it too fast, because losing weight too fast is a bad idea. If you lose weight too fast, it's not healthy. You might find yourself anemic, you might find yourself starving and lacking energy, and you might have saggy skin if you lose weight too fast. And you may gain all the weight back in the end. So, when you adjust the amount of food you eat daily, it's a long-term plan. You want to make sure that this is the amount of calories that you will eat approximately for the rest of your life. And you will probably have to adjust it, because as you get older, you will need even less calories. But, you just have to make sure that you eat a reasonable amount of calories that kind of matches your daily energy needs. Maybe is 100 calories or 200 calories under the amount of calories you need per day if you want to lose some weight. And you have to make sure that you get enough protein, enough vitamins, enough other essential nutrients. So that's why it might be a good idea to take a multivitamin pill every morning. But if you are careful and if you follow this advice, if you inform yourself and if you stick to your plan, it might help you, to look a little bit less like this and a little bit more like this in the end. Okay, so that's it for my video blog, people. I hope you liked it. Of course, if you have additional advice for other viewers, feel free to make a video response. For example, I encourage you to make a video response, but you can also comment on this video. Okay, so that's it for today, people. Bye bye.